Hello and welcome again to another episode of Translating Moby Dick so that normal people can enjoy it. I'm Sam.
I'm Andy.
And today is one of several very special days in our nation's history because, as we all know by now, if you've been looking at BBC One or BBC Two or any of the other channels except Channel 4, the best channel, the racist old royal, one of them has died. And I wouldn't say we're immune to the effects of this world-changing event, but we just want you to know that this is a safe place away from it. This is the only time we're going to mention that the withered old ghoul has finally ceased to move. And we're going to take you away from that, back to a time very different to our own, where people were a little bit racist and dismissive of other cultures. And we hope that that's really going to just set your mind at ease and help you deal with the terrible loss of one of the worst people I've read about recently.
What an intro. That's
Yeah.
some fierce editorializing.
I didn't read much at all, I gotta tell you. I'm mostly sad about DMX, but here we are.
Yeah, I was reading about that yesterday and it was really sad. But yeah, I don't know if I like the idea that the impetus for reading Moby Dick is that we're going back to a more racist time. I don't think that's
No, we're going back. We're going back to understand it and sanctify it. And by sanctify it,
I don't like that either.
Okay, we're going back to we're lifting up the foul rock or tree trunk, if you prefer, of time, and we're looking at all the squirming gross bits underneath, and then we're going,
don't touch that bit.
Well, we don't really want to tell people what to think, although we do, but not through the avenue of Moby Dick. We want to just say these people were a bit weird. Get back to the whale.
Yeah,
that's my objective here.
I think the arc of Ishmael's understanding came towards like a greater understanding in the last passage. But I think something we'll see in this chapter, as we have in previous ones, there's some dated language. It's ugly. It's never good to see.
No.
We're not celebrating it by reading this book, and we also don't want to kind of like.
We're not dunking on Melville here. Let's just get that clear. We're not dunking on it. We're just improving on his work.
Yeah. But I think it's worth pointing out that like it is there in the text, saying that it isn't that helpful either, because it kind of then censors the idea that these were attitudes people held at the time, however ugly they were. And there's something to be said for kind of like facing the ugliness of the past and accepting responsibility for that as a way to move forward. So we're not going to be reading out offensive words online, I hope.
I don't know. I think Twitch will come and execute us if we do that.
Yeah, but just as a heads up that it is there in the text, I think, before we get started.
Okay, this is a very good disclaimer.
Yeah, maybe we should have had it at the beginning of the whole series, but definitely worth bringing up, I think.
I don't know, maybe. Anyway, let's get to it, because we've only got a really short chapter today. We may even do a double chapter special, which may bring this, this entire timeline a little bit further forward, because this is going to take us about 3 years to finish, if I am correct in my maths.
I think so, yeah, at the very least.
Unless we get that lottery grant money,
but this
and we can quit our jobs and just do this full time.
I'm slightly confused. I've opened your stream, and I'm just getting a black screen, but that could be my phone.
That might be something at your end.
Might be something at my end.
I think Emma's watching it on her phone. Yeah, I can see it there. I think it's
Emma
all
says
right.
Andy is so wise, so we must be seeing.
She never says these things about me, by the
way. So yeah, somebody's seeing this very clearly, obviously.
Maybe it's just, if it is a black screen, maybe it's just that it seems really significant. Anyway, it's time for a recap. Andy, you did the last ones. I'm willing to do this one.
I would love that, yes.
Okay.
I am very excited for this chapter, though, because it's everybody's favourite meal of the day, which is...
pancakes.
Yeah, the chapter is all about pancakes. The great pancakes chapter that everyone talks about.
Anyway, it's actually called breakfast, but we'll get to that in a sec. So, short form recap, here we go. Back in the days of olden times, where people used to be racist and throw things at whales, completely separate to today, there was a man, his name was Ishmael, and he thought, today is the day I'm going to go out to sea, otherwise I'm going to go properly apeshit and start knocking people's hats off. So off he goes to a place called New Bedford or something like that. But there's no boats, or he can't get the boat to the place where the boats go from. Something along those lines. He's fucked, he's poor, he can't afford a nice hotel, so he goes to the worst hotel in town. He goes to the Spouter Inn by Peter Coffin. Peter Coffin is a full goblin man who just lives for chaos and is the best character in the book, but I fear that we may be seeing the end of Peter Coffin's time with us. Anyway, Peter Coffin's like, hey, why don't you share a room with this guy? He's not a cannibal. And Ishmael goes, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And then this guy turns up and he's a cannibal. A lot of confusion. Next thing we know, the cannibal's hugging our dude, making him feel very safe. They spend the night together. But that sort of thing isn't done, so he yells at him to get out of his face. And then our guy puts his boots on and his hat, crawls under the bed and spins around in circles a little bit, gets out, shaves his face, stark bollock naked, and then leaves. And that's where we are. And you couldn't hear the music there, Andy, but that was perfect timing with the finish.
I could feel the energy of the music. Just
it was building, yeah. It was in the performance. Teach you that at drama school, that. Just keep waffling till you get the end of your mark.
Lesson 1, always have hype music in your head.
You watch, I fucked up the audio and the music wouldn't have gone.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't see the stream, but Emma says that music timing. So again, completely relying on
she's yelling at me. What? Yeah, I did. Emma's telling me I didn't go to drama school now. What the fuck? Scientists for you. I went to the drama school of life.
It sounds like there's a drama school taking place there right now.
Whoa! We're all learning in this drama school. All right. I am going to head to the text. Here it is. Taken from Gutenberg.org, Moby Dick. We have chapter 5, breakfast. We've got chapter 5. I'm going to call it breakfast as well, because everyone knows what that word means. Breakfast. Heck yeah. So, take us away, Andy.
I quickly followed suit and, descending into the barroom, accosted the grinning landlord very pleasantly. I cherished no malice towards him, though he had been skylarking with me not a little in the matter of my bedfellow.
Okay, that's enough to go on that. We can take that. Okay. First off, we're coming in hot. I don't know why this is a separate chapter, because you don't start with I quickly followed. Like, if I've got to the end of that chapter, I've put the book down for a month, I've come back, quickly followed suit on what? Excuse me?
You've got to read back a whole 5 lines to discover the context.
Someone trying to spam call me. Yeah, and we don't want people to have to read back 5 lines, so... What's the elegant way of covering this? Okay, so we finished off with, at some point his trousers got on and so did his other clothes, and without a word to me he marched out of the room, spinning his harpoon around down the corridor like a majorette with badly fitting shoes.
Well, do we want to contextualize breakfast going into it? Do we want to say, like, it was breakfast time or something along those lines? And then that's very concrete, isn't it? That's like saying, okay, I'm in this scene now.
Well, we've not covered whether Ishmael also got himself sorted out and washed.
Do you think that's something readers worry about, where if they don't read in the book that somebody's put their clothes on and got washed,
they might just still be running around naked
and unwashed for the rest of the book?
I think with Ishmael and the fact that he's antsy to get out to the sea, we can't put anything past him, and we need to clarify.
This is a dangerous precedent, though, isn't it? Because it means if anything that isn't
Any
established,
character could be naked at any time and we might not know.
yeah, or just anything that isn't directly established in the text itself isn't actually happening to these characters. So it means that if we don't say people sleep or perform necessary bodily functions, they're not doing it for the next like 6 months.
And they've got to like it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's cover it with this one. A while after forgot how to spell Queequeg. What? Queequeg had gone. What's a word, Andy? What's a word for like going down a corridor in a haphazard way while spinning something around? After he'd gone
Gallivanting.
Gallivanting kind of works.
Kinda
What about marauding?
Marauding is quite violent, though, isn't it?
Is it? Well, he's spinning a harpoon around. Gone marauding off down
Strutting.
yeah, strutting works because it makes Queequeg sound cool.
Yeah, I mean, also he's walking like this marshal with a baton. I think strutting is kind of the modern equivalent of that, isn't it?
Very good. While Queequeg had gone strutting off down corridor, I can never spell corridor right. Corridor. I followed along, having washed my own face and whatnots. Okay, that's good. I got downstairs, and the landlord, we'll call him innkeeper, we're calling him innkeeper. And the innkeeper...
It's stressing that the innkeeper's grinning as well.
Yeah, was giggling at me.
Yeah.
I didn't mind so much. He was a guy who liked to giggle, and I wouldn't begrudge him a little chuckle. Yeah.
I mean, he's saying that
even though he was laughing at me and my circumstances in a pretty direct and obvious way. Wait, I was feeling pleasant. I was thinking of putting radiant on there as well, but I think that just makes it sound weird. Okay. He's even saying it here. However, a good laugh is a mighty good thing, and rather too scarce a good thing. The more's the pity. So if any one man in his own proper person affords stuff for a good joke to anybody, let him not be backward, but let him cheerfully allow himself to spend and be spent in that way. And the man that has anything bountifully laughable about him, be sure there is more in that man than you perhaps think for. Okay.
I really feel like
he's becoming the Joker.
I was gonna say I feel like you've already written some of this. Like it's just the flow of thought in it is like eerily similar.
It is a bit
to our digressions.
Yeah. Okay. Besides, I don't mind being the subject of a joke. What goes around comes around. And maybe one day we'll all get to laugh together.
Oh,
isn't that a nice thought? Besides, even I'm just gonna write this and then you can wind me back.
I can feel it.
The foulest of clowns. They have some depth to their character beneath all that paint and red noses. You just never know. Do we need that line? I just wanted to write the line, even the foulest of clowns.
I think even the foulest of the clowns is excellent. It's like a good title in itself.
Oh, the foulest. It's just, if we're just writing Joker content now.
Yeah, this Ishmael just It's just a Joker backstory, the whole of Moby
This
Dick.
is.
This is his origin story.
And that's why we need Arts Council funding to make this video essay.
Oh, is this the point where we pause and say how close we feel we are to getting Arts Council funding?
I feel like we should do that at the end of this chapter because it's just a short one.
Okay.
But
Maybe
I
we can
would say
gauge that
we're
on the
pretty
way.
close to getting Arts Council funding. I did open their website.
Cool.
Okay. Right. This one's you.
Okay. The bar room was now full of the boarders who had been dropping in the night previous, and whom I had not as yet had a good look at. They were nearly all whalemen, chief mates and second mates and third mates and sea carpenters and sea coopers, sea blacksmiths and harpooneers and ship keepers, a brown and brawny company with bosky beards, an unshorn shaggy set, all wearing monkey jackets for morning gowns.
I love it when he does lists. I'm just going to copy paste this and we're going to present it more like a list. Okay. The bar room was...
Do we need to extend it so it's like chief mate, second mate,
Yeah,
fourth mate?
We're showing off sailor knowledge here.
Yeah.
The bar room was stacked with all manner of whalemen and boatmen. Most of whom... Oh, yeah. Not that I'd had chance to inspect them all one by one just yet. Okay.
That is what I imagine Ishmael doing. He's just going down the table being like,
stares at him like,
mate, second mate, third mate.
Writing it down. Of the collected men of the sea, I took note of the following. There were semicolon. Chief mates. And we're taking out the ands. Chief mates, second mates, third mates, sea carpenters, sea coopers, sea blacksmiths. Sea blacksmith a thing?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be throwing harpoons.
Who runs a forge on a boat? You burn it down.
Dangerous men.
Blacksmith. I would like to put in dangerous men on blacksmiths. Ship keepers. Okay. Ship keepers. Okay, we need more here. Ship keepers. Ship's cooks. Ship's cooks. Do you say ombudsmans?
Ombudsmans.
That ombudsman's the guy who gets your money back from PayPal after they rob you.
Yeah, but it's the sea ombudsman.
Ah, okay. Let's put that in the C section.
Yeah.
Sea ombudsmans? Ombudsman. The ombudsmans.
Are we doing divisions of mates? Are there quarter mates?
I don't know. Okay, we got...
We'll do third mates, quarter mates.
Is a quartermaster thing?
Quartermaster is a thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Chief mate, second mate, third mate. Quartermates. Quartermasters. Oh, quartermaster's one word, isn't it? Quartermasters. Sea carpenters. I want to put sea cucumbers, but that's not a person. Sea carpenters, sea coopers, sea blacksmiths, sea ombudsman. I don't think CHR is a thing there, Kim. I think that's. Oh, what's the guy? What the boatswain? Sea boatswain. Oh, there's no boat title. Oh, but there's ship. Okay. Harpooneers, shipkeeper, ship cooks.
We should be taking suggestions from chat on this.
We should be.
Get my phone working.
Give us your nautical titles, but they have to be historic.
Well, they have to sound historic. They have to have a factiness ring about them.
COH, Emma. What's OH? We're not having occupational health on the boat.
Oh. Actually, if there's any boat which doesn't have occupational
it's definitely
health,
this one.
It's definitely this one.
Ship cooks. Ship
I can't remember it.
Shipwrights.
They must have a surgeon, but I don't remember there being a ship surgeon.
What's on the crew on One Piece? You got swordsmen, navigators, doctors. Oh, what would a ship's doctor be called?
It's a good suggestion. Where the
Reindeers.
CHR.
Shipwrights.
That feels like it's out of a kid's joke book.
Okay, we'll come back to this maybe later on after we've thought of a few more. Please get them going in the chat.
Yeah. Please send money to our Patreon to add what professions you would like.
£1 per title, and we'll put one in there. See hairdressers? No.
See hairdressers?
No, you just
cut
it off with a harpoon. Yeah, that's what the harpooneers are for.
It's a bosky bit. Yeah, you stand 20 feet away, and they throw a rock at you to measure the distance first, and then they just harpoon your beard clean off.
They're all pretty similar looking guys. Big beards, big hair, big voices, big hearts.
Yeah, if you put
it was a lovely Atmos. Big hair. Yeah, it was a lovely atmosphere. Oh yeah,
sea estheticians. Oh,
they were all wearing coats. He thought it was worth mentioning. Okay. You could pretty plainly tell how long each one had been ashore. This young fellow's healthy cheek is like a sun-toasted pear in hue, and would seem to smell almost as musky. He cannot have been 3 days landed from his Indian voyage. That man next to him looks a few shades lighter. You might say a touch of satin wood is in him. In the complexion of a third still long lingers a tropic torn, but slightly bleached withal. He doubtless has tarried whole weeks ashore, but who could show a cheek like Queequeg, which, barred with various tints, seemed like the Andes' western slope, to show forth in one array contrasting climates, zone by zone.
He's definitely saying this all aloud, isn't he?
He is, and he's definitely been smelling this guy's cheek.
Yes. It's so specific as well. It's like his cheek smells really musky.
This is when he was like looking him close in the eye and saying like, "Ship's cook. Smells like a peach." Oh, sorry, a sun-toasted pear.
Yeah, sun toasted pear sounds expensive.
Okay. Looking at them and knowing the things I know about sailing and tanning, you could get a pretty good impression of how long each of them had been off a boat. The smells too. No. But first off, okay. This is going to be a bit of an essay. First off, different parts of the world have different tans. It's just how the sun works. And so this fella here with his smooth cheeks that look like a toasted pear. He's probably been on land a while because he's clearly had access to moisturizer, which they don't.
I think that might be the opposite. In this instance.
But if you're at the sea, it's going to be all salty, and then you would need to use moisturizer. That's what I picked up. Yeah, you put moisturizer on when you're in bad conditions.
Salt famously doesn't dry out your skin.
No, it does. Salt famously does dry out your skin.
Yeah.
So if he's
then-
looking moist, he's
Right.
not been on the boat for a bit.
But is he looking moist? I think
I
that's
don't.
the question.
Oh, he said it was like a toasted pear.
Untoasted pear.
Ah, fuck. I don't know what's happening anymore.
I'm glad we've unpicked this.
Okay, sun toasted pear. You can't have. Okay, he's been at sea. Yeah, that works. Wait. Oh no, the opposite. He's probably fresh off the boat, like a fresh pear. Like a fresh pear. Even though we just said pear. Chaos words. Fresh pear. Because he's clearly not had access. Oh my god. Can we start this one again?
Okay.
This guy with his smooth cheeks that look like. I just want to copy paste that one. It just works. What do you think? Do we need to translate this?
What,
Is
just
this
do the whole
fine?
thing?
All the sailors look. Nah, we've got it. I can't be lazy. Can't be lazy. I'm struggling, Andy.
You could just change the odd word. Let's take the reins.
No, we're rewriting. What's the gist? Everyone looks different because of different tans from different parts of the world.
Yeah.
Cheeks look like a toasted pear. Smells like one too. Bam. He's just sailed in from India. Obviously.
It's definitely following up from the previous chapter where Ishmael is a tanning expert.
Yes.
He knows all the tans and he knows how to get them.
And he's just had this revelation that maybe he can't judge everything about a person just from a glance.
Yeah, but he'd still clearly like to.
Yeah, it's his hobby. He's just sailed in from India, obviously. What else we got? Slightly less tanned guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Yeah, a lot of words for that. Less tanned guy he's talking to? Smells like dirt. That's a guy who's been on land a while. Queequeg, though. With that face, he could have been anywhere. Okay, I think we've got that.
Excellent. Well done.
Oh yeah, because his entire face looks like its own biome. Yeah.
Yeah.
His could be anywhere. A face like that contains a multitude of different biomes and continents. I think that works.
Very little sense of what Ishmael looks like, isn't there, for this for the whole book?
Grub ho! Now cried the landlord, flinging open a door. Okay, does not need translating. That's good. So we can take out the now.
That was a great delivery of grub ho.
I didn't realize it was the landlord. Otherwise, it would have been grub ho. Okay, this is you.
Okay, wait.
They say.
They say that men who have seen the world thereby become quite at ease in manner, quite self-possessed in company. Not always, though. Ledyard, the great New England traveller, and Mungo Park, the Scotch one, of all men they possess the least assurance in the parlour. But perhaps the mere crossing of Siberia in a sledge drawn by dogs, as Ledyard did, or the taking a long solitary walk on an empty stomach in the heat of Africa, which was the sum of poor Mungo's performances. This kind of travel, I say, may not be the best mode of attaining a high social polish. Still, for the most part, that sort of thing is to be had anywhere. Okay.
Language aside.
Yes. So
what the fuck is he saying?
Paragraph.
What's his point?
The point is, so like some people say, if you've traveled around the world, you're chilled anywhere and you're really good in company. It's like not the case. I know of 2 explorers who are really, really shit at talking to people.
Okay. A lot of people look up to explorers. think that.
Well, I think the
Well,
point here is like this is a company of men who
means-
travelled around the world first. So yeah, getting that as your first point.
Yeah, I think that
Okay.
well-travelled means interesting, or polite, or fun to be around. Well, let me tell you, I've met travellers. Wait. Met travellers? I've met explorers sounds better.
Yeah.
I've met explorers, and they're all boring pricks. bad manners. And boring chat. So is he saying that these guys are also explorers?
I think the implication
he's about
is that,
to
like,
say.
he's like, yeah, you might think that these guys would have lots to talk about, but no, they're bad at it.
They're all boring pricks. Sorry, just sorting out some of my grammar. Just a big fan of the comma, you know.
Nothing wrong with that.
Love a good comma. That's right. I'd say it may not be the very best mode of attaining a social polish. Still, for the most part, that sort of thing is to be had. Okay, but anyone can be a boring prick. But then, that's not to say that you need to be a guy who travels a lot to be a boring asshole. Okay. These reflections just here are occasioned by the circumstance that after we were all seated at the table and I was preparing to hear some good stories about whaling, to my no small surprise, nearly every man maintained a profound silence. And not only that, but they looked embarrassed. Yes, here were a set of sea dogs, many of whom, without the slightest bashfulness, had boarded great whales on the high seas, entire strangers to them, and duelled them to death without winking. And yet, here they sat at a social breakfast table, all of the same calling, all of kindred tastes, looking round as sheepishly at each other, as though they had never been out of sight of some sheepfold among the Green Mountains. A curious sight, these bashful bears, these timid warrior whalemen. Okay, I'm keeping that part. I like that. That goes in at the end. All right.
It's again, they just don't want to talk to Ishmael, do they?
Yeah. I hate
like
to be right so often. When we all got sat down and I was fizzing at the seams, ready to hear some good stories about battering sea mammals to death and lugging bits of their bodies from sea to sea. From sea to sea. They all just clammed up like some
Like clams.
uppity sheep. Was he suggesting they were shepherds or sheep with that thing about?
I think people who are from
some uppity country boys.
Like, yeah.
Country boys who never...
Although I like that reading. They've never been out of sight of the sheepfold because they are sheep.
I mean, it could be that. Who never had the good fortune to have a good old chat with me over here. Old Ishmael. A curious sight, these bashful bears, these timid warrior whalemen. Okay, that was good. Okay, and we're coming back to our best boy, Queequeg.
Yeah. But as for Queequeg, why, Queequeg sat there among them at the head of the table too, so it chanced, as cool as an icicle. Be sure I cannot say much for his breeding. His greatest admirer could not have cordially justified his bringing his harpoon into breakfast with him, and using it there without ceremony, reaching over the table with it to the imminent jeopardy of many heads, and grappling the beefsteaks towards him. But that was certainly very coolly done by him. And everyone knows that in most people's estimation, to do anything coolly is to do it genteelly. This is awesome.
It is, all right. Queequeg, though,
Yeah.
he was anything but boring. I stared at him, transfixed, while everyone else was afraid of making anything approaching eye contact. There sat Queequeg at the head of the table. Harpoon. Yeah, okay. At the head of the table. The harpoon might have seemed like a weird object to bring to breakfast. Oh, head of the table, sorry. Head of the table. Cool as... He says cool as an icicle, but we all know that the thing that's the coolest now is a cucumber.
Cucumber, cool. Yes. Good job you didn't use it earlier.
Yes. We're not going to say a sea cucumber because I don't know how cool they are. The harpoon... The harpoon might have seemed like a weird object to bring to breakfast, but he quickly showed that it was a good and cool idea when he started spearing all the food off the table to dump it on his own plate.
Nice.
Not even seeming to care if he accidentally impaled anyone's hands. Very cool dude. Right.
Very nice. Emma contributes with harpoon life.
Thank you, Emma. That's correct. We're all here for the harpoon life. As soon as we become millionaire streamers like that ninja fella, that's what we'll call our supporters. We'll call them the harpooneers. Thank you for joining the harpooneers. Or whale batterers.
We'll carry around our own harpoons everywhere.
Hey, we could do.
It'd be a look.
Why not? Yeah, it's a strong image. We will not speak of all of Queequeg's peculiarities here. How he eschewed coffee and hot rolls and applied his undivided attention to beefsteaks done rare. Enough that when breakfast was over, he withdrew like the rest into the public room, lit his tomahawk pipe, and was sitting there quietly digesting and smoking with his inseparable hat on, when I went out for a stroll. I sallied out for a stroll. Sorry, got a burp there.
Sounds good.
Okay, cool, but weird. I'm not going to go into too much detail on how weird he was, but to give you the condensed version, he only ate beef, didn't touch the coffee or the hot rolls. I think he's on one of them protein. He's on Atkins' diet, isn't he?
Yeah, this is Atkins.
Coffee or the hot rolls. And after he was done with his high no-carb breakfast, he lit his axe pipe and just smoked a bit in the next room. Meanwhile, I went out for a walk. quickest chapter of my life.
Unbelievable.
I think we can do a quick little read through of that, and then we've been going less than an hour. I think we can get chapter 6 done because that's also short.
Sounds good to me. Well, you did the intro, so I can do the read through.
Okay.
This one. As soon as my computer catches up with me. Chapter 5. Breakfast. A while after Queequeg had gone strutting off down the corridor, I followed along, having washed my own face and whatnots. I got downstairs, and the innkeeper was giggling at me. I didn't mind so much. He was the guy who liked to giggle, and I wouldn't begrudge him a little chuckle, even though he was laughing at me and my circumstances in a pretty direct and obvious way. I was feeling pleasant. Besides, I don't mind being the subject of a joke. What goes around comes around, and maybe one day we'll all get to laugh together. Isn't that a nice thought? Besides, even the foulest of clowns may have some depth to their character beneath all that paint and red noses. You just never know. The bar room was stacked with all manner of whalemen and boatmen. Not that I'd had chance to inspect them all one by one just yet. Of the collected men of the sea, I took note of the following. There were chief mates, second mates, third mates, quartermasters, sea carpenters, sea coopers, sea blacksmiths, sea ombudsmen, harpooneers, ship keepers, ship cooks, shipwrights. They're all pretty similar looking guys. Big beards, big hair, big voices, big hearts. It was a lovely atmosphere. They were all wearing coats. Looking at them and knowing the things I know about sailing and tanning, you could get a pretty good impression of how long each of them had been off a boat. First off, different parts of the world have different tans. It's just how the sun works. And so this fella here with his smooth cheeks that look like a toasted pear smells like one too. Bam. He's just sailed in from India, obviously. Less tan guy he's talking to smells like dirt. That's a guy who's been on land a while. Queequeg, though, with that face, he could have been anywhere. A face like that contains a multitude of different biomes and continents.
Grab ho!
Cried the landlord, flinging open a door, and in we went to breakfast. A lot of people look up to explorers, think that well-travelled means interesting or polite or fun to be around. Well, let me tell you, I've met explorers, and they're all boring pricks. Bad manners and boring chat. But then that's not to say that you need to be a guy who travels a lot to be a boring arsehole. I hate to be right so often, but when we all got sat down and I was fizzing at the seams, ready to hear some good stories about battering sea mammals to death and lugging bits of their bodies from sea to sea, they all just clammed up like some uppity country boys who'd never had the good fortune to have a good old chat with me over here, old Ishmael. A curious sight, these bashful bears, these timid warrior whalemen. Queequeg, though, he was anything but boring. I stared at him, transfixed. While everyone else was afraid of making anything approaching eye contact, there sat Queequeg at the head of the table, cool as a cucumber. The harpoon might have seemed like a weird object to bring to breakfast, but he quickly showed that it was a good and cool idea when he started spearing all the food off the table to dump it on his own plate, not even seeming to care if he accidentally impaled anyone's hand. Very cool dude. Cool, but weird. I'm not going to go into too much detail on how weird he is. To give you the condensed version, he only ate beef, didn't touch the coffee or the hot rolls, and after he was done with his no-carb breakfast, he lit his axe pipe and just smoked a bit in the next room. Meanwhile, I went out for a walk.
He's just Queequeg's hype man, isn't he?
I mean, that's a good position to put himself in, I think.
I think so too. Okay, chapter 6, The Street. We don't need to translate that one neither. Chapter 6, unless something more important than the street happens.
Is it the street? Oh, yeah. I'd skipped ahead to the chapel. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Very. You see, it's such a short chapter. Okay, so If I had been astonished at first catching a glimpse of so outlandish an individual as Queequeg circulating among the polite society of a civilized town, the astonishment soon departed upon taking my first daylight stroll through the streets of New Bedford. I mean, wait, if I've been astonished at first catching if I was surprised at seeing a cannibal in a normal city, I was going to be way more shocked by what I was about to see on the streets. Is that what it's saying, or is that the opposite?
I think that's what he's going for.
If I was shocked about meeting a cannibal, a cool cannibal like Queequeg in a civilized city.
I'm just bracing myself and reading ahead for how many outdated terms
Oh no,
we're going to find.
If I was shocked about meeting a cool cannibal like Queequeg in a civilized city, then I was about to have my socks blasted right off by the things the street was about to parade in front of my gawping face. Right. Okay. Over to you.
Sorry, I'm just finding my place. My confused me. Which there we go. In thoroughfares nigh the docks, any considerable seaport will frequently offer to view the queerest-looking nonscripts from foreign parts. Even in Broadway and Chestnut streets, Mediterranean mariners will sometimes jostle the affrighted ladies. Regent Street is not unknown to Lascars and Malays, and at Bombay in the Apollo Green, live Yankees have often scared the natives. But New Bedford beats all Water Street and Wapping. These last mentioned haunts, you see only sailors, but in New Bedford, actual cannibals stand chatting at street corners. Savages outright, many of whom yet carry on their bones unholy flesh. It makes a stranger stare.
Okay, this all seems fine. All right. First off,
I like the sense of perspective where it's like, yeah, if you're in Bombay, it's pretty scary meeting a Yankee.
Wait, is that what he says?
Yeah.
I thought he was just talking about, like, Yankees, like, Americans going around scaring people.
I think, yeah.
Bombay and the Apollo. Okay.
Yeah.
First off, sailors walking too close to women. Making them uncomfortable. That's fucked. Fellas, don't do this. Second off, what a busy place with so many different types of people. It's the nice thing about the docks. You get all sorts. Even I, with my tan knowledge, could only guess where half of this bunch were coming in from. I felt like I might understand where someone from Bombay or some other colonized place might feel when suddenly everyone looks a bit different. Is that more or less what he's saying?
I think that sounds fine.
Is that oversimplifying?
we don't have to worry about We're here to oversimplify.
That's true. Also, I was freaking out over one cannibal in my bedroom. But here there were cannibals on every street. corner. It was practically a cannibal convention. Yeah, I think we've covered that. Yeah, that's done. Okay.
Excellent.
But besides, this is a lot of words that I'm going to pronounce very wrong.
Yeah, I also don't know exactly what all of them refer to.
Let's just go for it.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. But besides the Fijians, Tongatobuars, Eromangoans, Penangians, and the Brigigigians, and besides the wild specimens of the whaling craft which unheeded reel about the streets, you will see other sights still more curious, certainly more comical. There weekly arrive in this town scores of green Vermonters and New Hampshire men, all athirst for gain and glory in the fishery. They are mostly young, of stalwart frames, fellows who have felled forests and now seek to drop the axe and snatch the whale lance. Many are as green as the green mountains whence they came. In some things you would think them but a few hours old. Look there! That chap strutting round the corner. He wears a beaver hat and swallow-tailed coat, girdled with a sailor belt and sheath knife. Here comes another with a sou'wester and a bombazine cloak. Okay, it's more or less just still saying the same as before. All right.
Yeah, people and then wild outfits.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, these just seem like rearrangements of clothing that he's introduced in previous. It's very hard to get a handle on what's outlandish wear.
Just doing the reskin.
Yeah.
It wasn't all foreigners and people who ate people, though. There were some big lads from the mountains who must have gotten bored chopping down trees and now were looking to deforest the oceans too. Though in this case it just doesn't work. We're looking to hit whales with axes instead of wood. Yeah, that makes more sense, I think.
Like this.
Outfits were crazy. All the other items of clothing I've mentioned. They were here, but some people were wearing them in slightly different ways. One guy had a furry hat and a...
I like this idea of the sailor belt. It sounds like something we made up to make it sound like we know about sailors.
Different looking coat. The last time I had seen people in that type of hat. Because the last time we had seen that type of hat, the guy was naked. That's Beaver Hat. And also, Monad, hello again, has a very good point. Again, enjoying queerest looking nondescripts, as it means strangest looking, totally unremarkable looking people.
That is a good line.
So yeah, I guess when you pout, when you put it that way, it wasn't that crazy. But it still felt crazy, you know? I don't know. Anyway.
Okay. We're on to the next. I think you're going to have fun with this next
Oh, is
paragraph.
this me? Let me just have a
I
little
think,
sip.
I think it's Mia reading, but I think you're
Ooh.
going to have fun translating it.
Okay.
No town-bred dandy will compare with a country-bred one. I mean a downright bumpkin dandy. A fellow that, in the dog days, will mow his 2 acres in buckskin gloves for fear of tanning his hands. Now, when a country dandy like this takes it into his head to make a distinguished reputation and joins the great whale fishery, you should see the comical things he does upon reaching the seaport. In bespeaking his sea outfit, he orders bell buttons to his waistcoats, straps to his canvas trousers. Ah, poor hayseed, how bitterly will burst those straps in the first howling gale, when thou art driven, straps, buttons, and all, down the throat of the tempest.
Jeez.
You know.
Seems quite mean.
Well, I mean, they've made a horrible faux pas by coming into town and ordering the wrong fancy sailor clothes. They clearly should just be wearing a beaver hat and a monkey jacket. Is what we've established.
That's all you're allowed to wear.
Yeah.
I thought when he was talking about country-bred dandies, he was saying that they were really cool and the ones from towns are shit, but he's actually saying the opposite.
Yeah,
He's being very anti-rural right now.
Well, he's saying all dandies suck, I think, but the ones that suck the most are the ones that go
Okay.
in his opinion.
All dandies are bad. But the ones from the countryside are the worst. These guys think they're big news with their big muscles, all that fresh air they get out in the countryside, the views.
You've got to get in the attitude of him saying, "Oh, they finally decide to take a distinguished profession like whale murder."
But when they think they're too big for the forest, that's when they start to try. That's when they look to find a real job, like being a whale murderer. They've barely seen a sailor, but they turn up at the docks asking for pointy hats and new buttons and sailor's gloves. And let me tell you,
I love any "let me tell you."
they're all a scam. The only things that will survive the tempests, the tempests of the sea are a true sailor's heart, bones, and clothes. Anything fake will just be washed away down into the depths with all the other fakers and pretenders. I fucking hate farmers. Okay. I think we've covered it. Oh, hello. Wait, we gotta go bigger on the cat cam. Would you like to introduce your cat to the stream?
Hello. This is Freddy. Freddy is in many ways the captain of this ship.
The ship being the house or the cradle you have created with your arms there?
I think both. But yeah. Definitely his attic.
It's a good cat.
Fun. You getting the purring through the mic.
Oh no, give us the cat ASMR. Oh.
Oh, he stopped purring.
Do it again, Freddy.
Ready?
Nah, he doesn't like that. Okay, back to the book.
He's a bit shy on mic.
That's good because with the graphic, he's just been replaced by the whale there.
Yeah, he's just gone back to the depths.
Okay, so, all right, I think we've covered that. But think not that this famous town has only harpooneers, cannibals, and bumpkins to show her visitors. Not at all. It's become the tourism board. Still, New Bedford is a queer place. Had it not been for us whalemen, that tract of land would this day perhaps have been in as howling a condition as the coast of Labrador. As it is, parts of her back country are enough to frighten one, they look so bony. The town itself is perhaps the dearest place to live in all New England. I thought it was an exclamation mark. It was just capitalized. It is a land of oil, true enough, but not like Canaan. A land also of corn and wine. The streets do not run with milk, nor in the springtime do they pave them with fresh eggs. Yet in spite of this, nowhere in all America will you find more patrician-like houses, parks and gardens more opulent than in New Bedford. Whence came they? How planted upon this once scraggy scoria of a country? Okay. Confused by a lot of what I've just read. Don't know what Canaan is. Not sure about oil. With how big was oil a thing at the time? Oh no, Andy's frozen. It's okay. Monaz has got me. Canaan is where Canaan was sent, east of Eden. I feel like this is another literary reference that has sailed over the head of this cowboy. And I don't really know, but I'm going to do my best while Andy is trapped, like at the end of Superman 3, where they get all those Superman bad guys and put them in like a floating disc in space. So until he comes back, I'm just going to pop him a quick text, because this is fucked. This is good content here. Very good content. Andy, you okay? You're frozen for me. Okay, and I'm going to crack on. So we have had... Think not this famous town has only harpooneers. Cannibals and bumpkins, sure, not at all. Okay, that's easy enough. In fact, that just works. I'm lifting that. But we can tweak it a little bit. I fucking hate farmers. We'll not make that its own line. I fucking hate farmers. But that's not to say that this town has only happening show visitors. Not at all. Ooh, I've appeared in 2 camera spots now because that's the Discord capture there. Hi, multi-angle. Isn't that nice? Look at that. Oh, I need to colour match those. Andy has texted me back. Internet has gone off. He's gonna hop back whenever he can. So yeah, I'm gonna go for it. That's not to say that this town has only harpooners, cannibals, and buttons to show her visitors. Not at all. Still, it's a queer place. Had it not been for us whalemen... Okay. Not at all. It's got other stuff too. But if it weren't for whalemen like what I was fixing up to become, it would have had far less gardens, big houses, fountains, oil things. No, we're not talking about oil because we don't know the historical context. Not like... Okay, I'm gonna venture a guess on the Canaan thing. Fountains. We've got it. Sure, it's not like some kind of mythical city where the streets are paved with eggs and the gutters are awash with the finest of milks. But it gets by. And like I say, it's not got anything else to thank for it but whalers. If I remember, yeah, we got that. Whence came they? Yeah, okay. I think that works. So, then we've got... Go and gaze upon the iron emblematical harpoons round yonder lofty mansion, and your question will be answered. Yes, all these brave houses and flowery gardens came from the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans, one and all. They were harpooned and dragged up hither from the bottom of the sea. Can Herr Alexander perform a feat like that? That might be where that Canaan thing's about then, eh? So is this about colonialism? I mean, it obviously is because of the time, but let's not make it a direct reference out of respect for old Prince Philip there. But whalers, this fancy crap they've all got. That wasn't mined up from America. It's come up out of the seas of all the world. Dredged, harpooned, hooked, and just generally grabbed at. Every single house and statue in this town has been wrestled from the ocean. Not in a literal way, though, because that would be insane. I mean, it's not like that house over there has been dredged up and transported on a boat. No. I mean that it's been bought with whale and fish money, if you get me. I thought Andy was back, but he's not. We're going to have to do another paragraph solo. Alexander the Great may have been pretty good, but he couldn't do something like that, could he? Oh yeah, it's changed. That's because it's just a screen cap of where Andy's supposed to be. I don't have any easy way of fixing this. It appears I've been by myself in this call. Well, I will continue to wait. I'll do a little call again and see if he pops in. Make bigger. Well, okay, off we go. In New Bedford, fathers, they say, give whales for dowers to their daughters and portion off their nieces with a few porpoises apiece. Okay, we're just having that. That's a very good line. In New Bedford, fathers, they say, give whales for dowers. Let's just make that dowry, so, because I don't know what a dower is, but I know what a dowry is. A dowry to their daughters and portion off their nieces with a few porpoises apiece. You must go to New Bedford to see a brilliant wedding, for they say they have reservoirs of oil in every house, and every night recklessly burn their lengths in spermaceti candles. I don't know what spermaceti is, but I suspect we're going to find out. That all just works for me. They say they have reservoirs. Oh, Andy may be reconnecting. Something's occurring. Oh, hello. Hello, sailor. Hi, how are you doing? I'm getting on okay. We've made good progress. It's been very intense though, because I've got no one to bounce things off. I can only read one thing at once, Andy. Jesus Christ. Sam, hang on, Emma's shouting at me now. Oh, fucking hell. Andy, you know that thing where we can't hear you happens sometimes? That's happened. I don't know how we fix that, Andy. I think... Okay, I'm going to have to become the Andy Whisperer. What if I actually... Let me try this. Stable performance mode. Say something again? Let's see if we got you. We'll see if that works. If it doesn't work, I will listen to what you're saying, and then I will repeat it. I'll be like Theoden, and you can be Grima Wormtongue. What, Wormtongue? He was just like that. Okay, yeah, we've not got your audio, so I think we're just gonna speed run the rest of this chapter, and yeah, we'll get through it. So, Andy, my first question is: there's a part about Canaan. What is Canaan or Canaan? The land of corn and wine. He thinks it's a Bible story and it's a place of wealth. I don't think we need it because, Andy, what I've got is... I have a part where we say... Boo, 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 boo. Where's the part about milk? Milk, 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 milk. Yeah, okay. Sure, it's not like some kind of mythical city where the streets are paved with eggs and the gutters are awash with the finest of milks, but it gets by. Does that cover it? Thumbs up, thumbs down. He thinks it sounds good. We're good. We've got the Bible-approved version. Hang on. It says good. It says good, folks. We've got the thumbs up. Okay. Andy is now... Okay, I will... Yeah, we'll cut to this when we need to see big mode. Go big mode. Alright, spermaceti candle, Andy. Do I need to translate that? Is that something we're going to learn about later on? Okay, we are going to learn about that later on. Ah, a famous whale product, which I am going to tell you all about much later on. So stay tuned. Candles do stink, yes. Ah. Okay, so back in the day, candles smelt like shit, and the only way of making a candle that doesn't smell like shit is to slaughter a whale and extract a clear liquid from it, which you can then make candles out of. That's very good to know. That's a good candle fact. Alright. That's whaling. Okay. We've just had this. We've got 2 paragraphs to go. In summertime, the town is sweet to see, full of fine maples, long avenues of green and gold, and in August, high in air, the beautiful and bountiful horse chestnuts candelabra wise, proffer the passer-by with their tapering upright cones of congregated blossoms. So omnipotent is art, which in many a district of New Bedford has superinduced bright terraces of flowers upon the barren refuse rocks thrown aside to creation's final day. All right, got that. And the flowers and trees, they're good too. It's good. All right. And the women of New Bedford, they bloom like their own red roses, but roses only bloom in summer, whereas this fine carnation of their cheeks is perennial as sunlight in the seventh heavens. Elsewhere match that bloom of theirs ye cannot, save in Salem, where they tell me the young girls breathe such musk their sailor sweethearts smell them miles offshore, as though they were drawing nigh like the odorous Moluccas instead of the puritanic sands. So he likes witches. Was the Salem witch trials around here, Andy? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, interesting. All right, we got to get a history fact in there about that. Flowers and they're good too. And the women, smelly witch women indeed. And the women of New Bedford, they're as pretty as the flowers. Or maybe even more so, accounting for uptime on beauty. Because while flowers are nice for a few weeks, once a year, New Bedford women are more often pretty more often than that. So suck it, flowers. The only place that has better women is Salem, famous for its witch trials. I don't know if there's a connection, but they say that the sailor boyfriends the sailor boyfriends of Salem I do think that's a really good name. But the sailor boyfriends of Salem can smell their women from miles and miles away at sea. And if that's witchcraft, I don't want to be. I want like a if that's wrong, I don't want to be right type line. If that's witchcraft, I don't. If that's witchcraft, get over here, Satan. I'm ready. Okay. So it's a short chapter, and we've still not got Andy's audio because apparently Streamlabs and Discord have just a big falling out. I don't know what that's about. Andy says, that's wailing. So yeah, I'll read this one through, and then we shall close this off. Chapter 6, The Street. If I was shocked about meeting a cool cannibal like Queequeg in a civilized city, then I was about to have my socks blasted right off by the things the street was about to parade in front of my gawping face. First off, sailors walking too close to women, making them uncomfortable. That's fucked. Fellas, don't do this. Second off, what a busy place with so many different types of people. It's a nice thing about docks. You get all sorts. Even I, with my tan knowledge, could only guess where half of this bunch were coming in from. I felt like I might understand where some I felt like I might understand where someone from Bombay or some other colonized place might feel when suddenly everybody looks a bit different. Also, I was freaking out over one cannibal in my bedroom, but there were cannibals on every street corner. It was practically a cannibal convention. It wasn't all foreigners and people who ate people, though. There were some big lads from the mountains who must have gotten bored chopping down trees, and now were looking to hit whales with axes instead of wood. Hit whales with axes instead of wood. There's a way of rephrasing that, but I won't do it. Outfits were crazy. All the other items of clothing I've mentioned, they were here, but some people were wearing them in slightly different ways. One guy had a furry hat and a different looking coat to the last time I had seen that type of hat. I guess when you put it that way, it wasn't that crazy, but it still felt crazy, you know? I don't know. Anyway, all dandies are bad, but the ones from the countryside are the worst. These guys think they're big news with their big muscles and all that fresh air they get out in the countryside, the views. But when they think they're too big for the forest, that's when they look to find a real job like being a whale murderer. They've barely seen a sailor, but they turn up at the dock asking for pointy hats and new buttons and sailor's gloves, and let me tell you, they're all a scam. The only things that'll survive the tempests of the sea are a true sailor's heart, bones, and clothes. Anything fake will just be washed away down to the depths with all the other fakers and pretenders. I fucking hate farmers. But that's not to say that this town has only harpooneers, cannibals, and bumpkins to show her visitors. Not at all. It's got other stuff, but if it weren't for whalemen like what I was fixing up to become, it would have had far less. Gardens, big houses, fountains. We've got it, sure, it's not like some kind of mythical city where all the streets are paved with eggs and the gutters are awash with the finest of milks, but it gets by, and like I say, it's not got anything else to thank for it but whalers. This fancy crap they've got? That wasn't mined up from America. It came out of the seas of all the world, dredged, harpooned, hooked, and just generally grabbed at. Every single house and statue in this town has been wrestled from the ocean. Not in a literal way, though, because that would be insane. I mean, it's not like the house over there has been dredged up and transported on a boat. No, I mean, it's been bought with whale and fish money, if you get me. Alexander the Great may have been pretty good, but could he do something like that? Could he? Oh, but he couldn't do something like that, could he? In New Bedford, fathers, they say, give whales for dowry to their daughters, and portion off their nieces with a few porpoises apiece. You must go to New Bedford to see a brilliant wedding, for they say they have reservoirs of... I'm going to make that say whale oil, because you might think it's proper oil. Of whale oil in every house, and every night recklessly burn their lengths in spermaceti candles, a famous whale product which I'm going to tell you about much later on. So stay tuned. And the flowers and trees, they're good too. And the women of New Bedford, they're as pretty as the flowers, or maybe even more so, accounting for uptime on beauty, because while flowers are nice for a few weeks once a year, New Bedford women are pretty more often than that, so suck it, flowers. The only place that has better women is Salem, famous for its witch trials. I don't know if there's a connection, but they say that the sailor boyfriends of Salem can hear their women from miles and miles away at sea. And if that's witchcraft, then get over here, Satan. I'm ready. Andy says, good. This has been a double chapter special. I would say in memory of Prince Philip, but to be honest, I've forgotten all about him, and was just enjoying the old days when Andy says careful, so I'm going to be careful. I don't know if I'm going to get Princess Diana'd. So I'm probably just going to stop that one. And yeah, we'll just say thanks for tuning in. We'll probably do this again next weekend. I am going to do some troubleshooting in the meanwhile to figure out why the fuck Andy's audio drops if this happens again, because it's really annoying. It is bad. Yeah, in the meantime, I'll just say thanks. We'll get a little teaser, see what's coming up next. Next up, he goes to a chapel. It's a longer one. That might... actually, it's pretty short as well. It's a good one, apparently. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I've been Sam. I'll see you later. That's been That's been Andy. He'll also see you later. Andy, do you have any words left to close that I can rephrase? He just says he's had a good time, and he hopes you've had a good time too. And we'll have an even better time next week. And we'll see you later. Bye-bye. My ocean sounds probably aren't going to play either, are they? Let me just test this. Emma, can you hear the ocean? That'll do it.